The stars hung like distant diamonds against the void as Captain Diana Novak stood at the observation deck of the Earth Defense Station Prometheus. 1,000 years of enforced peace had changed humanity in ways their ancestors could never have imagined. The war ban, imposed by the Galactic Council, had reshaped human civilization from its warlike roots into something else entirely, something safer, the Council claimed. Something better. Diana didn't believe it for a second. The facilities she discovered beneath the Martian ice sheets told a different story. Ancient weapon systems, combat protocols, and military installations that defied modern understanding, all of it sealed away, hidden from the watchful eyes of alien observers. But what haunted her most weren't the weapons themselves, but the logs she'd found. Records of battles that seemed impossible, of victories that shouldn't have been achievable. "Captain, we're detecting unusual activity in the Kuiper Belt." Lieutenant Marcus Wong's voice crackled through the station's comm system. "Something's interfering with our long-range scanners." Diana turned from the observation window, her expression hardening. "Show me." The holographic display flickered to life, showing a cascade of distortions rippling through space. It wasn't natural. The pattern was too regular, too deliberate. Someone was testing Earth's detection capabilities. "Have you notified Central Command?" Diana asked, though she already knew the answer. The bureaucrats who ran Earth's defensive networks weren't military strategists. They were politicians, trained to avoid conflict at all costs. "Yes, ma'am. They've classified it as a natural phenomenon." Marcus's voice carried a note of frustration that matched her own. Diana accessed the secure terminal at her station, bringing up the classified files she'd recovered from Mars. The signal pattern matched something she'd seen in those ancient records, a prelude to an attack strategy used by the long-extinct Drachnid Empire. But that was impossible. The Drachnids had been gone for millennia, their civilization destroyed in one of the last great wars before the ban. Unless Marcus cross-referenced this signal pattern with all known species in the galactic database, she ordered, her fingers flying across the console. "Look for any civilizations that might have had contact with the Drachnids before their fall." The computer hummed as it processed her request. Diana's mind raced through the implications. The warband had left humanity vulnerable, their defensive capabilities stripped down to the bare minimum needed for planetary security. If someone had recovered Drachnid military technology, if they learned the truth about why humanity had been banned from warfare. The console chimed. "Match found," Marcus announced. "The Crixian Empire. They were a minor species during the Drachnid era, but they've been expanding rapidly in the past century. Their territory now borders 3 human colony systems." Diana felt her blood run cold. The Crixians had been watching humanity for years, studying their weakened defenses, their forced pacifism. And now they were using Drachnid technology to probe Earth's capabilities. She accessed another terminal, this one connected to the facility she'd found on Mars. The ancient systems there had been dormant for centuries, but they weren't dead. They were waiting. Humanity's true strength hadn't been destroyed by the war ban. It had been preserved, hidden away until it was needed again. As Diana stared at the signal data, she realized that humanity's 1,000 years of peace were about to end. The galaxy had forgotten why humans had been banned from warfare in the first place. They'd forgotten the devastation human armies could unleash, the tactical brilliance that had made Earth's military leaders legendary. But they were about to remember. "Marcus," she said, her voice steady despite the gravity of what she was about to do. "Initiate Protocol Lazarus. Authorization Novak 77 Alpha." There was a moment of silence on the comm. "Captain, that's a restricted military protocol. Using it would violate the war ban." "The war ban won't matter soon," Diana replied, watching as more distortions appeared in the Kuiper Belt. "Something's coming, Lieutenant. Something that will force humanity to remember who we really are. And when that happens, the galaxy will understand why they were so afraid of us in the first place." The ancient systems beneath Mars's surface began to awaken, responding to codes that hadn't been used in a millennium. As klaxons began to sound throughout the station, Diana Novak prepared herself for what was coming. Humanity had been forced into peace, but they had never forgotten how to fight. The galaxy had wanted humans to change, to become something gentler, something safer. But you couldn't change the core of what humanity was, a species that had clawed its way up from the mud, that had survived every challenge thrown at them, that had conquered their own world through sheer determination and grit. The warban hadn't made humans peaceful. It had just made them patient. And that patience was about to run out. The Crixian attack came at dawn. Not Earth's dawn. Humanity had long since spread beyond their home world, but the artificial dawn of New Haven, humanity's largest colony in the Centauri system. The settlement's shield generators hadn't even detected the enemy ships until they opened fire, their weapons utilizing frequencies that shouldn't have existed outside of ancient military archives. Admiral James Pierce watched the tactical display from the bridge of the EDS Hyperion, Earth's most advanced defensive vessel. Not that advanced meant much anymore. 1,000 years of enforced peace had left human ships with just enough weapons to handle pirates and asteroids. Nothing like what they needed now. Status report, he demanded, his weathered face illuminated by the red emergency lights. New Haven's outer defenses are at 30% and falling, responded Lieutenant Commander Ray Okada, her hands dancing across multiple holographic interfaces. Civilian casualties. She hesitated. Civilian casualties are mounting. The Crixans aren't discriminating between military and civilian targets. Pierce's jaw tightened. The Galactic Council's ban on human warfare had been absolute. No weapons development, no tactical training beyond basic self-defense, no military expansion. They claimed it was for the galaxy's protection. Now Pierce wondered if it had been about making humanity vulnerable. His secure comm channel crackled to life. Admiral Pierce, this is Captain Novak from Prometheus Station. Please tell me you're receiving this. I read you, Captain. Things are getting hot out here. Sir, I've activated Protocol Lazarus. The facility on Mars, it's more than just an archive. It's a backup plan. Pierce's eyes widened. He'd heard rumors about Protocol Lazarus, whispers of contingency plans put in place by their ancestors. But he'd never thought he'd live to see it implemented. The Council will have our heads for this, Captain. With respect, sir, if we don't act now, the Council won't have to worry about our heads. The Crixans are using modified Drachnid weapon systems. They're not here to conquer us. They're here to eliminate us. A massive explosion lit up the tactical display as another of New Haven's defensive platforms went dark. The colony's citizens were being slaughtered, and the Hyperion, humanity's flagship, could barely scratch the Crixian ship's shields. Pierce made his decision. Execute Protocol Lazarus, Captain Novak. Full authorization. Pierce 9 Delta Echo. He turned to his crew. All hands, prepare for emergency protocols. We're about to remember who we really are. The response was immediate. Hidden compartments throughout the Hyperion began to open, revealing weapon systems that had lain dormant since the ship's construction. The bridge's holographic displays shifted, showing combat interfaces that none of the crew had ever seen before. Sir, Ray called out, her voice filled with wonder. The ship. It's changing. She was right. The Hyperion had been built with more than just defensive capabilities. Like humanity itself, its true nature had been hidden, waiting for the moment when it would be needed again. Across the solar system, other human ships were undergoing the same transformation. Protocol Lazarus wasn't just about awakening old weapons, it was about awakening humanity's warrior spirit. Multiple Crixian vessels approaching, Admiral, Ray reported. They're charging weapons. Pierce stood from his command chair, his expression grim but determined. Show them why the galaxy feared us. All batteries, open fire. The Hyperion's response was devastating. Weapon systems that had been disguised as scientific instruments or communication arrays revealed their true purpose. Energy beams sliced through space with surgical precision, cutting through Crixian shields as if they were paper. Sir, Ray's voice was filled with disbelief. The Martian facility, it's launching ships. Automated vessels with combat capabilities we've never seen before. Pierce watched as the automated defenders joined the battle, their movements coordinated with an efficiency that spoke of centuries of refined combat algorithms. The Crixans had expected to find a weakened humanity, neutered by the Council's ban. Instead, they were facing the full fury of Earth's hidden strength. Admiral, Captain Novak's voice came through again. We're detecting more Crixian ships entering the system. A lot more. This was just their first wave. Good, Pierce replied, surprising himself with the fierce pride in his voice. Let them come. Humanity has been peaceful because we chose to be, not because we forgot how to fight. Send word to all colonies and outposts. Protocol Lazarus is in full effect. The warband ends today. As the battle for New Haven continued, news of the attack spread throughout human space. The chains that had bound humanity's martial spirit were breaking, and with them, the illusion of enforced peace shattered. The galaxy had forgotten why humans had been banned from warfare. They'd forgotten the intelligence that made human tactics unpredictable, the determination that made human soldiers unbreakable, the ingenuity that made human weapons unstoppable. But as Admiral Pierce watched his transformed fleet engage the Crixian armada, he knew the galaxy would soon remember. Humanity hadn't spent the last 1,000 years becoming weaker. They'd spent it preparing for this very moment. The war ban was over, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy exactly what that meant. Commander Kinzo Tanaka stood in the depths of the Martian facility, surrounded by holographic displays showing battles raging across human space. The Crixian invasion had triggered more than just Protocol Lazarus. It had unlocked archives that had been sealed for a millennium, revealing truths that changed everything they thought they knew about the war ban. "Play historical record sequence Gamma 7, he commanded. The air shimmered as ancient footage materialized around him, showing scenes from humanity's last war before the ban. What he saw made his blood run cold. It wasn't the violence that disturbed him. It was the power. Human forces weren't just fighting. They were reshaping reality itself. Weapons that could bend space-time. Soldiers enhanced with technology that bordered on magical. Strategies that seemed to defy the laws of physics. "Commander, Dr. Olivia West burst into the archive chamber, her dark skin glistening with sweat. "You need to see this. We've decoded more of the original council documents about the ban." She connected her tablet to the holographic system, and new images filled the air. Documents, testimony, and footage from the Galactic Council's original deliberations about humanity. "They didn't ban us because we were too violent," Olivia said, her voice trembling with the weight of discovery. "They banned us because we were evolving too fast. Our military technology was advancing at a rate that terrified them. But that's not even the most important part." Kinzo watched as she brought up more records, these showing human soldiers performing feats that should have been impossible. "What am I looking at? The real reason for the ban. Humans don't just adapt to war, we evolve through it. Each conflict was pushing our species closer to something the Council couldn't comprehend or control. They weren't protecting the galaxy from us. They were trying to stop us from becoming something beyond their understanding." The chamber's communications system crackled. "Commander Tanaka, this is Admiral Pierce. Are you seeing anything in those archives that might help us? The Crixians are pushing hard, and they're using technology we've never seen before." Kinzo studied the battle footage playing out before him, comparing ancient tactics to the current Crixian assault. "Sir, I think I know why they're attacking now. They found drachnid weapons, yes, but I don't think they understand what they're dealing with. The drachnids weren't destroyed by another species, they were destroyed by us, in humanity's last war. The Crixians are using weapons designed to fight the humans of 1,000 years ago. And what about the humans of today, Commander?" A smile crossed Kinzo's face as he accessed another section of the archives. "We're better. The Council thought the war ban would make us forget who we were. Instead, it just gave us time to perfect ourselves. Every defensive system we built, every scientific advancement we made, they were all designed to be converted for military use. We didn't just preserve our warrior legacy, we enhanced it." As if to prove his point, new alerts flashed across the holographic displays. The automated defenders launched from Mars were adapting to Crixian tactics, their combat algorithms evolving in real time. Human ships across the battlefield were transforming, revealing weapon systems that had been disguised as civilian technology. "Sir," Kinzo continued, "these archives contain more than just historical records. They're instruction manuals. The Council didn't just fear what we were, they feared what we could teach others. Every human ship, every colony, every defensive installation was built with hidden potential, waiting for the right moment to emerge. Can you unlock that potential, Commander?" Kinzo looked at Olivia, who nodded firmly. "Already working on it, sir. The Martian facility isn't just an archive, it's a command center. From here, we can activate dormant systems throughout human space. But sir, once we do this, there's no going back. The Council will never trust us again." "The Council's trust isn't my concern right now, Commander. The Crixians are targeting civilian populations. They think we've grown soft, that we've forgotten how to fight. Show them how wrong they are." Kinzo's fingers flew across the holographic interfaces, inputting commands that hadn't been used in a millennium. Throughout human space, hidden transformations began. Orbital platforms revealed plasma cannons disguised as communication arrays. Civilian ships activated military-grade shields and weapons. Research stations transformed into battle platforms. "Sir," Olivia called out, "I'm finding something else in the archives. The Council didn't just fear our military potential. They feared our unity. In war, humans don't fight as individuals or even as nations. We fight as a species. It's coded into our DNA, the ability to put aside all differences and stand together against external threats. As if to confirm her words, reports began flooding in from across human space. Colonies that had been rivals for centuries were coordinating their defenses. Civilian ships were forming impromptu battle groups. Humanity wasn't just remembering how to fight, they were remembering how to fight together. Admiral Kinzo reported, "The archives are fully operational. We have access to every military innovation our ancestors developed, every strategy they created, every lesson they learned." The Crixans wanted to test humanity's strength? They're about to learn that the warband didn't weaken us. It just gave us time to prepare. The holographic displays showed the battle turning. Human forces were no longer just defending. They were pushing back, using tactics and technologies that had been hidden away for 1,000 years. The galaxy had forced humanity to be peaceful, but they had never stopped being warriors. And now, as the Crixian invasion fleet faced the full force of humanity's awakened potential, they were about to learn why the Council had been so afraid of human warfare in the first place. Fleet Marshal Victoria Reyes watched from the bridge of the newly awakened dreadnought Prometheus rising as humanity's transformed forces engaged the Crixian armada. What had begun as an invasion was quickly becoming a revelation, not just to their enemies, but to humanity itself. Multiple Crixian capital ships approaching through the Helios Gate, reported Chief Tactical Officer Zain Rahman. They're deploying some kind of temporal distortion field. Victoria smiled grimly. The Crixians thought they were being clever, using stolen drachnid technology. They didn't realize they were fighting with outdated weapons against their original creators. "Deploy the phase shift protocols," she ordered. "Show them what 1,000 years of hidden development looks like." Across the battlefield, human ships began to move in ways that defied conventional space combat. The seemingly primitive vessels revealed their true nature, not just warships, but products of a civilization that had spent centuries preparing for this moment. The Prometheus Rising led the charge, its hull rippling with energy as ancient systems fully activated. The ship didn't just fight the Crixian temporal distortions, it bent time and space around itself, moving through dimensions that the enemy's stolen technology couldn't reach. "Marshal," Zain called out, "we're receiving transmissions from the Galactic Council. They're demanding we stand down and accept the warband's restrictions." Victoria's laugh was cold. "Put them through. It's time they understood what they're really dealing with." The holographic display flickered, showing the stern faces of the Council representatives. Species from across the galaxy, all united in their fear of human military potential. "This is Council Elder Vex Thor," the lead figure announced. "Your species is in violation of the Warfare Restriction Treaty. Stand down immediately or face dash." "Face what, Elder?" Victoria interrupted. "More restrictions? More attempts to chain humanity's potential? Look at your screens. Look at what's happening. The Crixians violated your precious peace, thinking we'd grown weak. Now you're seeing why you feared us in the first place." The Council members watched in stunned silence as human forces systematically dismantled the Crixian fleet. Ships that had been disguised as civilian vessels revealed weapon systems that made the stolen drachnid technology look primitive. Defense platforms transformed into offensive weapons that could rewrite the laws of physics. "This is impossible," another Council member whispered. "These capabilities, they go beyond anything we've seen." "No," Victoria corrected. "They go beyond anything we've shown you. Did you really think the warband would make us forget? That we'd abandon our greatest strength, our ability to adapt, to innovate, to overcome? We didn't stop developing. We just got better at hiding it." On the tactical displays, the battle continued to unfold. Human forces weren't just fighting. They were evolving, their systems learning and adapting with each engagement. The Crixian attacks, based on 1,000-year-old drachnid technology, were being countered by defenses that had been refined over centuries of secret development. "Sir," Zain reported, "Commander Tanaka is transmitting data from the Mars facility. The archives contain contingencies we never even imagined. Our ancestors, they didn't just prepare for war. They prepared for evolution." Victoria nodded, watching as new protocols activated across the human fleet. Ships began moving in perfect synchronization, their crews connected by neural networks that had lain dormant since their construction. The distinction between human and machine, between soldier and weapon, began to blur. "You see, Council members," Victoria continued, "the warband didn't suppress our warrior nature. It just forced us to channel it differently. Every scientific advancement, every technological breakthrough, they all had dual purposes. We didn't just preserve our military capability. We transcended it. The Crixian fleet was in full retreat now, their stolen weapons useless against humanity's awakened power. But they weren't being allowed to escape. Human forces moved with devastating precision, cutting off their retreat paths, neutralizing their ships with technologies that the galaxy had never seen. "Marshal," Zane called out, "the Mars facility is detecting massive energy signatures from the Crixian command ship. They're trying to activate some kind of doomsday protocol." Victoria's expression hardened. They still don't understand. Humanity didn't just prepare for war. We prepared for every possible scenario. Execute Protocol Omega. Show them what happens when you force humanity to unleash its full potential. The Prometheus Rising system surged with power as the ultimate contingency activated. Throughout human space, hidden networks awakened, connecting every ship, every soldier, every weapon into a single unified force. The galaxy had feared human military might. Now they would witness human transcendence. As the final battle approached, Victoria addressed the still-watching council. "You banned us from warfare because you feared what we might become. Now you'll see exactly what 1,000 years of preparation has created. Humanity isn't just returning to war. We're redefining what war means." The galaxy had wanted peace. Instead, they were about to witness evolution. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath as humanity's unified fleet faced the Crixian command ship. The massive vessel, bristling with stolen Drachnid weapons, hung in space like a wounded predator, dangerous, but finally understanding it had attacked something far beyond its comprehension. In the depths of the Mars facility, Commander Kenzo Tanaka and Dr. Olivia West had unlocked the final archive, revealing the true scope of humanity's hidden legacy. The knowledge streamed directly to Fleet Marshal Victoria Reyes aboard the Prometheus Rising. "By the void," Victoria whispered, absorbing the information. "Our ancestors, they knew this day would come. They knew exactly what we would become." The Crixian command ship's energy signatures continued to build. Whatever doomsday weapon they had salvaged from the Drachnid ruins, they intended to use it. The Galactic Council representatives watched in horror, their hollow demands for peace forgotten. "Marshal," Admiral Pierce's voice came through the command network. "The Crixians are activating something we've never seen before. Even the Martian archives don't have data on this weapon." Victoria smiled, understanding flooding through her as the last pieces fell into place. "That's because it's not a weapon, Admiral. It's a key. The Drachnids didn't just fall in their last war with humanity. They triggered something. Something that our ancestors spent 1,000 years preparing for." The Crixian ship's energy readings peaked. Space itself began to tear around it, reality bending in ways that defied comprehension. But humanity was ready. "All ships, execute final protocol," Victoria commanded. "Show them what we really are." Across human space, the transformation began. Ships didn't just connect. They merged, their crews joining in a singular consciousness that transcended individual thought. The technology that had been hidden in every human vessel, every colony, every military installation, wasn't just about warfare. It was about evolution. "Marshal," Zane reported, his voice filled with awe, "the neural networks. They're not just linking our ships. They're linking our species. Every human in range is connecting to the network. We're becoming something more." The Crixian weapon fired, tearing a hole in reality itself. But instead of destruction, it revealed truth. The Drachnids hadn't been destroyed in their final war. They had ascended, reaching a level of existence beyond physical form. And they had left behind the keys to follow them, knowing that only humanity had the potential to unlock them. "You see now, don't you?" Victoria addressed the watching council. The war ban wasn't about preventing violence. It was about giving us time. Time to develop, to prepare, to become worthy of the legacy the Drachnids left behind. The Crixians found their weapons, but we found their purpose. The human fleet moved as one, their unified consciousness directing power that reshaped reality itself. The Crixian command ship's weapon hadn't doomed humanity, it had completed their transformation. "They're trying to surrender," Admiral Pierce reported as the remaining Crixian ships powered down their weapons. "Too late," Victoria replied, but there was no malice in her voice. "We're beyond that now. Beyond war itself. The Council feared we would destroy the galaxy. Instead, we're going to transcend it." The transformation spread, a wave of evolution rippling through human space. Ships became more than vessels, soldiers became more than warriors, and humanity became more than a species. The 1,000 years of preparation, of hidden development, had created something the galaxy had never imagined. Council Elder Vexthor's voice trembled. What? What are you becoming? What we were always meant to be, Victoria answered as the Prometheus Rising led humanity's ascension. The warband didn't stop our evolution, it guided it. Every restriction, every limitation, forced us to find new ways to grow, to adapt, to overcome. You didn't prevent our destiny. You ensured it. The battle ended not with destruction, but with transcendence. The Crixian fleet hung motionless in space, their stolen weapons powerless against beings that had moved beyond physical warfare. The Galactic Council watched in stunned silence as humanity underwent its final transformation. The age of war is over, Victoria announced, her consciousness now one with the unified human network. Not because of bans or treaties, but because we've evolved beyond it. The galaxy feared human warfare. Now they'll witness human ascension. As the last traces of the transformation completed, the truth became clear. The warband hadn't been a punishment, it had been preparation. Humanity hadn't spent 1,000 years becoming weaker. They had spent it becoming ready. The galaxy had feared what humanity might become in war. Now they would witness what humanity could become in transcendence. The final evolution wasn't about destruction. It was about reaching a level of existence that war itself could no longer touch. Humanity's legacy wasn't their capacity for warfare. It was their capacity for transformation. And as the newly ascended human consciousness reached out to touch the stars themselves, the galaxy finally understood why they had been so afraid. They hadn't feared humanity's power to destroy. They had feared humanity's power to become something more. And now, that power was finally unleashed.